I changed it back to Quixotic. It describes Don Quixote's life of being
kind of chaotic,
exceedingly idealistic, romantic, and completely impractical, as a 53-foot motor trawler is.
Right.
Yeah.
How did you like it, living aboard?
It was great. Yeah. From Virginia down to St. Augustine, single-handed. I think I put about 10 gallons of water in your fuel tank. I'm like, are you joking? He's like, nah.
Airplane mechanic, sorry.
Yeah.
That's what I was.
Yeah, A&P mechanic. I also have my ABYC certification. I'll help teach you what you need to know to run the boat, to take care of it.
Alright guys, welcome back to the harbor. Down here in Apollo Beach with Harrison. We're on his 53 Gulfstar. It's a 1975 motor trawler, and yeah, let's dive in. Harrison's gonna help us out here, give us a tour of his boat. He's been living on it for the last 2 years. He's now off the boat and she is for sale, and yeah, show us around.
Yeah, so we got this beautiful back deck with a gorgeous view. Have your coffee, grill out at night. It's a wonderful little spot. Enclosed cover. I've replaced the awning about 2 years ago.
Okay.
Put solar panels up there as well. Got 600 watts of solar coming in, 600 amps of lithium.
Mm-hmm.
So coming in, it's a bunch of math, but you get about 30 amps at 12 volts, give or take. They're pretty efficient. Hang a nice hammock right here while you're underway.
Oh, okay.
And
yeah,
it just rocks you to sleep.
Nice, yeah. I didn't think of that.
Coming up to the Flybridge, you have so much visibility up here. You open these windows up, you and one other person, or you and a dockhand. That's all you need to get underway. Just someone to cast off some lines, and easy. You got twins, so you can turn on a dime basically.
What is the length overall on this?
Length overall, with the dinghy and the bowsprit, roughly 65.
Okay.
65 feet roughly. It's a big girl, but she's got some big props and some powerful engines, and she moves some water pretty good. She doesn't go fast, but she moves some water.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you like to cruise at?
Comfortable cruising speed is about 6 to 8 knots, depending on the currents, and that's at 16 to 1800 RPM.
Okay.
So you're conserving fuel. Coming down from Virginia, I averaged about 3 miles per gallon.
What does it have for fuel tanks?
1,000 gallons.
Wow.
1,000 gallon tank.
1,000 gallon tank.
1,000 gallon tank.
Right in the center.
Right in the center, and it comes back. That's actually where one of the generators is located, and the batteries.
So what do you got for electronics?
So we got a Garmin here with a AIS and a radar up here, and then down below there's another Garmin chart plotter that just has AIS. Depth sounder up here, and then there's also a depth sounder down below, and then we just got a 2 radios, and you don't really need much more.
Right.
Anymore nowadays, you just pull out your iPad.
Yep.
And use Navionics or whatever software you like, and use Google Maps if you want.
So is that what you preferred? Is that what you did a lot of your navigating
I had
with?
my Garmin up, and then I also had my Navionics up.
Okay.
Yeah, my Navionics, I would, it's easier to plot your chart on Navionics, like, because I would plot my legs as I was coming down, and then I would use that as kind of endpoints, starting endpoints, and kind of rough estimates.
Okay.
And then I would have my AIS. Radar, never really used, unless you're out in open waters and it's dark.
Right.
But anymore with AIS, you can see everybody, if they have it, of course.
You got a little access panel there.
Yeah,
pretty good access underneath.
You can sleep under there if you need to.
You can sleep under there that much.
It's huge.
Wow.
I fit in there, and I'm about 6 foot. I've rewired a good bit of it, cleaned it up as much as I could, without tearing everything out.
Right.
And then there's storage under all of these.
We got the hatches right here in the front.
Yep, storage under all that.
Okay, yeah, 4 big hatches. Here we got that solar panel, and you can see the canvas is in good condition. Another aluminum radar arch.
Had Starlink mounted up here, the in motion use one. It was great.
Yeah, that's what I heard. It's really changing boating
Yeah.
to where everybody's got internet at all times.
Yep. So that will run off an inverter as well.
Okay.
Pretty well. We'll talk about all the electrical stuff that's
Inside.
yeah, that electrical stuff we could talk about for an hour.
Right.
Hours.
Right. All right, let's move forward and check out the bow. While we're here, see the dinghy. Is the dinghy coming with her?
Yep, dinghy will come with it. It's a 2023 Zodiac.
15 horsepower
15
Yamaha.
horse, Yamaha.
4-stroke. A nice teak swim platform.
Yep. So this whole davit will pivot down and lower the dinghy in.
Okay.
It's got an electric winch here with a remote.
Now with the non-skid, is this original or did they paint it? The gray color?
They painted the non-skid on.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's the Gulfstar logo. Big slider door. She's 50 years old, but for the age, you'd say she's in pretty good shape, right? For a 50-year-old boat.
She's solid. Engines are good. Hull's good. It's been pretty taken care of.
Yeah, and these are they solid fiberglass? The Gulfstars?
Solid fiberglass.
Yeah,
yep.
from the 50s. That's thick. That's thick. Thick
like
fiberglass back then.
Inch or two thick. It's a good thickness.
And built right here right in this area, St. Petersburg, Florida. So, how about this? Is this just a giant hatch for ventilation?
Yeah. So this whole hatch lifts up, or you have your dorades.
Dorads.
Yep. So that lets the fresh air in. Yep. So we got a 12-volt windlass here with a 150 foot of chain, just a little directional switch and a foot pedal.
Big dock box here to store fenders.
Dock box. It's nice because now you get a little seat up here.
Right.
While you're going underway,
Watch
get a bunch of sea spray.
Right.
Yeah.
Watch the dolphins go by.
Yeah. Dolphins play out in the back, usually. Really nice, spacious walk-around decks.
Yeah, big side decks.
Yeah, that's a huge thing, especially with like kids. Relatively safe.
It's a proper rub rail there.
Yeah, so it's pretty forgiving too. She'll take a beating. She'll take more than what you can handle.
You rode through the hurricane here and she came out just fine?
Perfectly fine. Yep, no issues.
Yeah, I'll meet you inside. Got entry on either side. It's nice. Hop in and out. Easy access to the cleats and tying off.
Coming down from Virginia, went through the one lock in Norfolk, single-handing it. Just radioed the lock control. They had their deckhand out. I was down here. I was able to just, had all my lines prepped. I was able to just step out, toss them some lines.
Yeah. And did you single-hand it coming from Virginia?
From Virginia down to St. Augustine, single-handed.
Wow.
I'd anchor up every night. As you can see with these walk-around decks, you just find your spot, throw it in neutral, go up and drop your anchor.
And what's your boating experience before you bought this?
I had learned how to sail, did a few ASA courses, and then I jumped from a 21-foot Formula, another 80s airboat, and then jumped up to this. With the twins though, you get out there, you play around with it, and you figure it out. You figure out what moves it, how it moves, and it moves great. Yeah, no issue with maneuverability. It's a pretty big boat. It likes to get pushed around with wind, the back at least. So that's just one thing you have to take into account. But if you can single screw like a 30-foot sailboat, everything else is fine.
Right.
Yeah, this is way easier.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is built on a motor sailor hull, is that right?
Yeah, so it has a 5-foot keel, full keel, and a real soft chine, so it plows through any waves, no issue. Displaces 46 tons, so it's a heavy boat. So hydraulic steering, hydraulic engine controls, and hydraulic throttle.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you do most of your piloting from in here in the.
Depends on the weather.
Yeah.
Depends on the weather. If it's a little nasty outside, you'll hang out down in here, or if you're trying to make some lunch while you're underway, single-handing it.
Yeah.
Hang out down here, go down, come back up.
It's got a real ship feel here at the helm. This is really pretty.
It's proper.
Nice wood.
It's proper, yeah. So we got RPM, oil pressure, or oil temp, water temp, hour meter, and amperage. It's pretty simple instruments. Kind of go off of like the sound and RPMs for most things. Go down, check it.
Perkins.
Yep, Perkins 6354s. So this rotates to the right, this rotates to the left. So you got dual spinning or alternating rotation on the engines. You got starts down here, you got stops down here, and stops at the Flybridge, so you can stop the engine up top if you need to, if you have any oil pressures going bad. Got your throttle control over here, and your transmission shifters right here. Trusty little compass, and a rudder angle indicator.
Was this the original headliner?
This is not the original headliner. This is the original headliner, I believe, was a white vinyl.
Oh, okay. Throughout the whole boat.
Yeah, throughout the whole boat. So this is this was added after the fact. I would assume in the 90s.
Yeah.
Late 90s. That's when I actually had similar wood paneling at in my room growing up.
Really?
Yeah, it was the thing to do in the late 90s.
So maybe it had a little bit of leaking going on. I know these can have some water damage around the windows. Is that pretty much all dried up and taken care of, or?
These windows do need to be pulled and resealed.
Okay.
Yeah. They're pretty simple. I've done this one because I also replaced the paneling there.
Yeah, so it's already been replaced.
Yeah,
over
so
here.
this one's been sealed. They're pretty straightforward and pretty simple.
Pull them out and rebed them.
The hardest part is the screws might be rusted when you're taking them apart.
Right.
Yeah, that's the hardest issue.
But you were able to reuse the window?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Pulled the window and was able to reuse it. It's a nice aluminum frame, so they're sturdy.
Nice parquet floors.
Yeah.
It's like,
Vintage 1975 parquet flooring.
and we were talking about these boats. This is from the era where so many boats came from Taiwan, I think in the 80s primarily. And this boat was built here in Florida, though possibly the woodwork all we were talking about probably came in a package from those same shipyards where they're building all those Taiwanese trawlers. But those boats, I believe, are mostly all balsa cord, and this one is solid fiberglass. Is that on the top sides as well?
No. So the decks and everything up
are
is
balsa
wood.
Okay.
Balsa, yeah, it's sandwiched.
So yeah, nice access here. A second access, actually. We'll show you the engine room access, but here you go. And that's the original, huh?
Yep. Original Perkins.
Looks pretty clean. 50 years old, still ticking.
Yep, still ticking. New turbos. Those are rebuilt or replaced 200 hours ago. General maintenance with everything.
Right.
Injectors rebuilt, fuel pump rebuilt. The low pressure fuel pump, $50 to replace.
Right.
Tractor engines.
And Harrison is a airplane mechanic. Sorry,
Yep.
that's what I was.
Yeah, A&P mechanic. I also have my ABYC certification for technician, and basically, if it's a motor, I can fix it.
Yeah. So that's a good endorsement there. If I'm looking to buy a boat, buy one from a mechanic.
I had to redo the coolant system because they had an extra intercooler mounted here that was running coolant through the bar manifold, the exhaust where the exhaust gases get cooled. That's usually raw water. It's designed to be raw water. So seawater coming in, going through here, cooling down the exhaust gases, and then going back and mixing. So with the thermostat still in, it wasn't opening until the engine got hot enough. So the coolant in the bar manifold would just sit there and cook and superheat until the thermostat finally opened, and then it would flow everything. No need to do that. You can still buy these bar manifolds. They're pretty easy to replace. A lot of newer engines are all controlled electronically, and they make them more efficient. Yes. They make them also a lot harder to work on. You need a computer. You usually need software that you have to pay licenses for. to access them. That's why you have to go to a dealer to get to that. These things, you can tear it apart in your garage.
Right.
And put it back together. Yeah. The electrical on it. You see this this little solenoid here. That's for the engine shut off. And then the alternator. And then you got your starter. One or two other little switches, like pressure switches, some gauges. And that's about all the electrical on this engine. But that's what makes them so reliable. They just keep going because it's all mechanically driven. As long as nothing mechanically breaks, you're good.
Right.
If something mechanically breaks, you got an issue.
Right. Right. It's kind of like my favorite part of the boat that I've seen so far. Is really just shows the size of this boat.
Yeah, we've had at a party in Virginia, we had like 8 people hanging out in here. Perfectly comfortable. There's storage everywhere. There's storage here, storage under here, storage in here.
Fridge and freezer.
Yep, you've got a fridge and separate freezer. Got a 3-burner stove. That is original. Still works.
Yeah.
Yep.
Here's that big hatch we're talking about. So I guess there was some water damage. Is this dried up now?
That still has a tendency to leak. It's very minimal. It's right here. Drops right there, and then right here, it'll drop a little bit.
Do you think it's the hatch base?
It's the sealant. After 50 years,
Right.
doesn't work great.
Is this an old school instrument that tells you?
That is,
which
yeah.
way
That's
you're leaning?
how you tell you what your list is. So
More so for a sailboat, right?
Yeah. But when I upgraded the batteries, I had there were 5 lead acids. I think 3D batteries. They're huge. A couple 100 pounds a piece. And I put the 6 lithiums in that are maybe 150 pounds. I had a nice 3-degree lean to the right.
Wow. Do you have to add some ballast or something?
Rocks.
Right.
Yeah, because lead's expensive.
Right.
Bags of rocks, $50.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep, river rock.
It's like the old days. They'd have to even them out with stones.
Yeah. So that's where, up in Virginia, I lived in Williamsburg. Getting to know the history up there, you'll find like these beautiful European river stones everywhere. Piles of them, almost like islands. A lot of the shoals are made out of those, because the boats would come over, filled with river ballast or river stones as ballast weight, and they would dump it in the Chesapeake. Yeah,
we were just in Savannah.
Yeah.
Savannah, Georgia, and they've got these big walls that are built out of those same stones. They would have guys go down and fetch them out of the bank and pull them up.
The better way to reuse them. Yeah, they just dump them overboard. Yeah, but I mean, stone to make it ride better. Even with a full tank, I filled up to like 800 gallons. Come down from Virginia, I sunk probably 1 or 2 inches. In the water line.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a big difference.
Is this the name of the boat?
Yep, Quixotic.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the nice woodworking. I think it's changed once. I changed it back to Quixotic. It means it describes Don Quixote's life.
Okay.
Of being
kind of chaotic,
exceedingly idealistic, romantic, and completely impractical, as a 53-foot motor trawler is.
Right.
Yeah. Pretty impractical, but it's romantic.
Right. Yeah. How did you like it living aboard?
It was great. Yeah, it was super comfortable. Like I said, waking up in the morning, making your coffee, sitting on the back deck, looking out at the water, being peaceful. It was great.
And mostly it was in Virginia or in Florida?
Mostly in Virginia.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Chesapeake Bay?
Yeah, Chesapeake Bay.
Okay.
Mob Jack Bay area is where I mostly lived on it up there.
Is the boating much different on the Chesapeake versus the Tampa Bay?
Totally different. Completely different. Your destinations, you're going from like historic Yorktown. Those are one of your stops. You can go all around. There's so much history up there.
Mm-hmm.
You go up to Baltimore. There's a lot of like day trips that you can take instead of just coming out and heading down to the Keys or like 30 miles out to the Gulf. It's a different bay, but you have access to all of it, and most of it's all you can do in day trips. Even in this, going this slow, you don't need a center console to get up and get out there to a reef or anything like that. So it's a very different type of boating.
What's the boating here like, you would say?
Here you're a lot more diving, different style of fishing.
A lot more history up there too. I mean, there's a lot of neat ports and places to see.
So you get up there, you can go out to Tangier Island, right there in the middle of the Chesapeake. You can get there by boat or plane. The only two options you got for there. So like there's little spots like that. Every port has a different feel and vibe to it, different culture that they've built about it.
Moving forward, we'll go straight to the V berth. Somebody's leaving next door.
Yeah, you got a little bit of a rock.
Rock and rolling a little bit.
So V berth up here, we have a chain locker up front. 150 foot of chain.
Is this a voltmeter for the windlass?
Yep. Yeah, the switch is in the little settee that you're on. It had a washer and dryer, a stack washer and dryer. Still has the hookups, still has everything. You can put one in. But this is where we put all the spare parts.
There you go.
Yep. It's nice and easy, organized.
And how many does this sleep? Like,
beds?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 beds. The aft cabin has a full-size bed and then a single bunk, and then there's 4 single bunks in the forward cabin. But you saw the salon. You can put a sleeper sofa in there if you want.
Yeah, you can pack this out pretty good.
Yeah, you put the one person in the hammock on the back deck, 2 people up in the Flybridge. Put a couple pop-up tents up here.
You could turn it into a party boat.
You got a party boat, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty simple with a V berth. Then coming back, we got a double bunk.
Just using his little catch-all for now.
Yeah, parts.
Little
More parts.
seat.
Yep, AC up front.
Oh, the AC's behind here?
Okay, yep. Yeah, so it's a split unit.
Good room for sticking a couple kids here.
And they get to have their own head with a separate shower stall.
And there's our second head?
There's a second head in the aft cabin. Yep. Got a 150-gallon water tank right in here. Fiberglass tank, yep. And another dipstick.
Yeah.
Yep. Coming back here, this is just storage. This just goes all the way down.
Oh wow! Yeah, down into the keel.
I don't know. You can put your smuggling rum in there. I don't know. Yeah. Whatever you want. Yeah, you can hide your Oreos down there. There's actually 2 spare props under the back settee there. These cushions come out and the tops come off.
And does that table drop down and turn this into another?
This one doesn't. The old one probably did.
Okay.
But this one's just fixed. It does rotate.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I think you have enough sleeping.
Yeah, we don't need any more beds.
Right. Let's look at the engine room and then we'll go to the aft cabin.
All right. So we got our engine room here.
Okay.
Electrical panel. Yeah.
Looks like you got it in pretty good order.
Yeah, most of it's still original. There's been additions, but yeah, it's pretty. If you know what you're looking at and you know what goes to where, it's pretty well color coded.
We'll go down into the keel. As we said, this is built on their motor sailor hull. So we got a big keel. What'd you say the draft was?
About 5 foot, being conservative.
Okay. There's those lithium batteries you're talking about.
Yep. So we got 600 amp, 100 amp hour lithiums, 12 volt, 3 separate starter batteries. So we got one for the generators, one for the engine, and one for the starboard engine. And then these can feed the house bank as well, if needed. But you're going to be getting power from solar to your house bank. You can get power to your house bank from your alternators. If you got something on, if you got sunlight, if you got an engine on, if you have a generator on, if you have shore power on, there's a lot of redundancy to getting power. I would also carry a jump box just to get us an engine started.
Right.
Just, you know, for another backup. We got it's a Victron MPPT that feeds into the house bank. There's a Victron Smart Shunt that lets you monitor how much is going in and out of the batteries. We got a 3-bank charger for the starting batteries. We have a alternator distribution panel, so 2 alternators feed in and it goes out to 4 banks, so it goes out to the house bank and the 3 starting batteries. We have a 2800 watt inverter charger that supplies power to all the 110 outlets and the fridge and freezer. Fridge and freezers are pretty power hungry. They draw about 30 amps when their compressor turns on. Split AC units over here. So that's for the forward and the aft. Salon has a self-contained.
There's a generator.
Yep, so that's a 15K ONAN generator.
Is that original?
Yep. Yep, so the 15K is original. The 8K is up here too. This one, I think this one was added later on because the wiring for it is separate. There's a separate way to pipe this in.
Right.
But the 15K is too much. It doesn't need that much.
How about the bottom paint? How long has it been since you had a bottom
paint?
job?
I painted in Virginia. I had it hauled, had it sandblasted, had a few blisters patched, and then 2 coats of primer, base coat, and then 3 coats of top coat.
Okay, it should be in pretty good shape then.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's due for one. It's on the list.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, 2 years, I don't know. It should be all right.
Yeah. But I dive on it every month and clean the bottom and check it. Zincs got replaced. It has 2 shaft zincs, and then it has 4 strut zincs, and then it has 2 giant diver plates on the back.
There's all our sea strainers.
Yeah, sea strainers are pretty easy. You just unscrew this, pull it out, clean it off. If you want to get a deep clean, you can take these off, clean it out. I keep them closed down here because stuff grows real fast.
Yeah.
Grows real fast. I would run my AC when I first got down here all the time. Don't do that. I had so much stuff growing in there.
Right.
Yeah, this is very different water than Florida or than Virginia.
Yep.
Yeah, Virginia, you didn't really have much growth. It's a lot colder.
Motor mounts are those replaced?
These are newer than these. These I've replaced. It was actually really easy. With this hatch open, I hooked up a like a beam, solid beam up top with some blocks, chain hoist, lifted the engine up, swapped these out, realigned the shaft. No problem.
A pretty good room here. I mean, you can crawl back there and access it.
Yep, I've spent a lot of time back there.
Done all the work yourself, primarily?
Yeah, all the engine work I've done myself. If you know how to do it, it saves you so much money.
There's some of that ballast we were talking about.
Yeah.
Not the European stuff, just Home Depot.
Yep. We have a 14-gallon black water tank. Then we have 2 whole house water filters, 8K generator, and a sound enclosure. Pretty easy to get to, access everything you need to.
But do you not use the other generator?
I don't use the 15K.
It, right?
You don't draw that much power.
Right.
Yeah. Or you just be a little selective with what you have going on.
What are these?
Those are just pumps for the air conditioner. So it cools the AC instead of using like an air and having that big heat exchanger. It draws in the seawater and cools the coils with that. Very
neat in here. It's got a good smell. It doesn't smell like anything.
Oh, thank you.
Diesel fuel or anything.
Yeah. So for the longest time, it had a terrible diesel smell. My return line right here was loose. Yep. Yep.
That was it.
Tighten that up, and it cleared up. Yeah. Raycor filters, fuel water separators. Highly recommend them. They are quite effective. Coming down from Virginia, I picked up a deckhand, my sister's father-in-law, up in St. Augustine. And then we go down around the Keys, hang out in Marathon for about 2 days to wait out some weather, which didn't help at all. Like, we still hit weather coming up. It's, yeah. You plan as much as you can, but then you get what you get. But I was like, hey, you mind filling up the fuel tank, or filling up the water? I'm gonna go take a shower real quick. He's like, all right, yeah. What, which port is it? I'm like, the one that says water. It says water. If it doesn't say water, it's not the water one.
Okay.
Yeah. So get out of the shower, and he comes up. He's like, hey, I think I put about 10 gallons of water in your fuel tank. I'm like, are you joking? He's like, nah. I'm like, okay, let's go to dinner because we can't do anything about it now. Let all that water settle to the bottom. It settles at a certain rate depending on what fuel you're in. We would have to deal with this all the time with like aircraft. If they left the fuel cap open and it rained. So you let it drain to the bottom, and then you stick a siphon or a hand pump, as far down to the bottom of the tank you can. Pump out as much as you can. And then for the first hour, I had him driving, and I was down here just watching these Raycors, and it would just slowly fill up with water in here. But the engine was still going good, and it would slowly fill up, and I'd shut the engine off, drain the water, reprime it.
Because once it fills completely, then it would start to overflow.
Yeah, so the water
can only hold so much.
So the water is denser. So it comes in, the fuel comes in, hits the and then starts to spin in here. So that's going to separate the water from the fuel. The water is going to sink to the bottom, and the fuel is going to be at the top, because then it has to go up through the filter and then out to the engine. So if the water got up to like here, if the water would have to fill up this thing before it got to the engine,
right,
and it would probably clog your filter. So I changed the filter probably 2-3 times, and drained this probably 4 or 5 times. You may look at that and you may be like, oh, you can't really tell what's in there. You can tell if there's water in there.
Right.
It's clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is definitely noticeable.
Yeah. And this is the same thing over here.
Yeah, so this is just an older style one.
Okay.
Yeah, bigger model. But
mostly it's used for condensation, but also can be used in the case of a greenhorn putting the wrong hose at the wrong place.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
most deck plates are labeled.
Yeah. To the master suite or the aft cabin. You can take a look here. The electrical panel, I guess.
Electrical panel. This is the life. Up here we got our AC panel here. DC panel over here. Battery selector. So lithiums, AGMs. We got our inverter charger control panel here. We got our AGM charger here. Shore power selector. So it's a single 50 amp coming in, and I believe it splits off to 2 30 amps legs. So main 50 amp breaker, just selector switch, controllers for our generator, and this is where we're going to see our amperage draw for. So you see a nice little pop there. And then we can go to our Victron app and see, that's if it was off the inverter, but anything that has an IF can be powered off the inverter. So receptacles, the bridge is just a 110 outlet up there, and the refrigerator, so not a whole lot. If you're really going to be doing anything, just run the generator.
Right.
You have plenty of gas. Yeah. You got enough gas.
The 1,000-gallon tank.
Yeah. You're not going to notice the generator running off your fuel consumption.
And
coming back to a nice little cozy captain's quarters.
yeah, got a settee.
Yep. Settee. There's your rudders are back here. Your stuffing boxes are back here. There's storage underneath both beds. I can fit back in there. There's storage back in here. Yep, that's where your battery is for your for the dinghy.
For the lift?
Yep, for the dinghy lift. There's all storage in there.
This has all been redone. This was the headliner you're talking about that
Yeah, it's been redone.
all been taken out.
Yep.
Another-
Newer windows, newer hatch windows at the sides open.
Another dry head. Got the parquet flooring. A lot of woodwork.
Beautiful shower door.
Yeah, it is
Nice shower stall.
This is a proper little head here. Plenty of room.
It's comfortable.
Hanging locker.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
that's all
Storage.
drawers. There's drawers under the bed. There's a locker, a closet behind the door.
Yep. Look, it's got a slider. There we go. Louvered slider. Full beam back here.
Yeah, full beam.
Yep. Now for a continual walkthrough on this 53 Gulfstar 1975. 50-year-old motor trawler with a lot of life still left in her. So the boat is for sale.
Boat is for sale. We're asking 60.
Okay.
We are open to negotiation. This is the type of boat that included in the deal is like, I'll help teach you what you need to know to run the boat, to take care of it, what I've done to it. Because you saw from all the systems, that's not something you just pick up.
Right.
It took me months to figure out what everything did, what everything was connected. So that's something that I'd like to pass on with it.
We're in Apollo Beach. This specific marina is about $1,000 a month. You said if they wanted to keep it here.
Yep. The marina's charging about $1,075 or $1,050 a month, and then electric is a flat 75.
No long-term liveaboards.
No permanent liveaboards.
Right.
You can come for a few weeks at a time, hang out. Just know that pump out is going to be your issue. Yeah. Or 3 miles offshore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Open up the tanks.
Yeah.
And,
3 miles offshore. Yeah. Out the bay of the Gulf.
right.
Or out in the Gulf. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Not 3 miles away from the marina. Not in the middle of the marina.
Not in the middle of the bay. No, you got to go 3 miles out. To get out there, that's about eight hours to get out to the mouth of the bay.
How far up are you from how many miles are we to the mouth of the bay?
Ooh, 64 miles.
64 miles. Wow.
Give or take 60
It
miles.
shows you how big this bay is. It's
Yeah.
a big bay.
It's a huge bay.
All right, well, Harrison, I really appreciate the tour. Thank you. I hope you find the right buyer for the boat and somebody else gets to enjoy her.
Thank you.